for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur.
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Coupe Stanley pour les Canadiens. Leur 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked the young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup!
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida TV. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro, the Sick Podcast on this Tuesday, August 12th. Thanks for watching on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter. You know, yesterday I was out for a large portion of the afternoon, late afternoon, evening. I actually got home at 9:30 p.m., but I had left my house at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I spent a lot of time. By the time I uploaded the pictures, actually, or a picture, was yesterday evening, late at around 10 o'clock while the show was going on. But I spent a good, I would say, over 5 hours with this guy. We'll show you a couple of pictures. And there you have it. Montreal Canadiens, Ivan Demidov, obviously you recognize him, and there you have it. So, look, we were spending time together for a particular reason, and I can't really talk about all of it right now because I've been sworn to secrecy. But I can tell you that we were in a commercial together. And so we were in a commercial together, which will be launched, I don't know, in the next couple of weeks or maybe in the next month, and you'll see it. And then after we taped the commercial, which was very, very enjoyable, we had a bite to eat together. So we got to know each other yesterday, and he's a really, really fine young man, and I like him a lot. And, you know, a lot of... and I had this conversation earlier tonight with some of the boys from La Poche Bleue because I went over to Hockey Etc. on Côte de Liesse, and they were live streaming the game, and I watched some Montreal Canadiens in action, which is going to be the theme of the show tonight because Brian Wilde's going to join us in just a couple of minutes. So, you know, many Montreal Canadiens were in action tonight in the 3v3 pickup league, basically is what it is. It's the Living Sisu League with one of the guys behind it is Zach Foucali, who's back in Russia, by the way, for camp. And Joe Valeno played in the game, and Alex Carrier played in the game, and Joshua Roy played in the game. Laurent Dauphin played in the game. Ivan Demidov played in the game. I'm missing somebody, I think, but anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll get to the list. So once again, Valeno, Carrier, Jake Evans, Laurent Dauphin, Joshua Roy, Ivan Demidov, Radkov, the goalie, and we're going to get to that. And I one of the guys said to me, he said, you know, he seems like he's different from a lot of Russian players, or some of them are more reserved. Kovalev was very reserved when he was here, and he didn't speak too much. Markov was very reserved. He didn't speak too much. Of course, you have some of them who are outspoken, and like Ovechkin, for example. He's a breath of fresh air. He's very outgoing. Radulov is like that. He's got a great personality. He's very sociable. He's very kind. He's very well-mannered. And so, look, I was very high on Demidov, pardon me. I was very high on Demidov before yesterday's time together, and I'm even higher on him today. So, you know, I'll fill you in with what the commercial was all about when I'm at liberty to talk about it. All right. So, for those who are wondering why we were together yesterday, was it just over a bite to eat? No, it was about 5 hours, 5.5 hours together. With a commercial and the supper, and I was there probably for about 7 or 7.5 hours. Actually, I got there before him. And all of it took place at Prima Luna restaurant in Rivière des Prairies, which is one of my favorite restaurants in the city. I've always said that. So it was kind of cool that it worked out that way and it was there. The Sick Podcast is brought to you in part by Energy Transportation Group, a leading full-service logistics provider serving all North America. Driven to be different. Also brought to you in part by Tibi. They launched their new Ultra Lager, refreshing, thirst-quenching beer. Perfect for the summer with only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 4% ABV per can. Available in a pack of 6 and 12 in grocery stores all around the province of Quebec. Ultra light, ultra refreshing. One of the things we pride ourselves on the Sick Podcast is we try to give you content that's real, up to date, pertinent, and we don't just have podcasts for the sake of having podcasts so we can have another one to try and get our 10,000 views. So like that, we can add it and say, okay, you know what? We did a podcast. We got our 10,000 views and we're talking about the same thing for the 1,000th time. And we're inventing all kinds of rumors and this and that. We try and go with the pertinent stuff. And so because there's a shortage of topics, but one of the topics today, Serge Savard at a golf tournament had former members of Team Canada and the 76 team together. And there's some stuff that came out of that, which we'll probably talk about tomorrow. But tonight, seeing as the Living Sisu League was going on, so many Montreal Canadiens in action, I picked up the phone. I called Brian Wilde and I said, hey, Brian, what do you think about this? What do you think we go there? We watch the game. You and I, we don't stand next to each other. We don't sit next to each other. You're at one end. I'm at the other. We don't discuss it at all. You take your notes. I'll take my notes. We'll talk on the podcast and we'll talk about what we see and we'll give our thoughts. And Brian said, it's good by me. So I saw Brian at the rink tonight. I went over and said hello, and then I separated myself from him. And now I'm going to be talking to him for the very first time about what we saw tonight. Brian Wilde, how are you?
I'm very well. You know what? I spent an hour with Ivan Demidov as well today, Tony. He was just not aware of it. That's all.
It's pretty cool to see, and good on Zach Fucali and what he's doing with this 3v3 league. And by the way, they give money to charity. I think they're raising awareness for pancreatic cancer as well. And the players get to stay in shape. The players get to connect with the public. The players get to play in a relaxed atmosphere. There's going to be no bashing of any player tonight. Okay, folks, this is 3-on-3 hockey. It's not easy. It's a lot of tight spaces. It's a lot of read and reacts as well. Sometimes you give up on the defense. Sometimes you don't, and you're going back and forth. I want to tip my hat. I'm not wearing one, but I want to do that, by the way, first of all, to Chris Letang. Brian, would you know why?
Yeah, absolutely. He played both games accidentally.
So Vincent Desharnais, I was spending some time next to the bench to try and get some video footage. And Vincent Desharnais, I guess someone didn't show up on his team. And he says to Chris Letang, who was playing a game because there was a game at 5:15 p.m. and there was another one at 6:30. He says to 38-year-old Christopher Letang, can you do a double and can you play right after? So I guess someone didn't show up or someone wasn't good to go. And Letang looked at him and said, sure. You know, spending some time next to the bench, Brian, Christopher Letang had a smile on his face all the time. He's an incredibly conditioned athlete that I heard a long time ago, notably from John Chamberg at APC, who had told me, Tony, out of all the athletes I've ever trained in my life, the two that have worked the hardest were George St. Pierre and Christopher Letang. That's pretty good company. Thank you very much. So I thought he was amazing for doing that. I thought he was amazing.
Yeah, and you know what, too? I'm happy you mentioned Vincent Desharnais because, my God, from ice level, which is, of course, where I was, right behind the goalie on the far end in both games, he's an absolute giant, isn't he? He just looks so huge. He had to be 7 feet on skates. It felt like it.
You know what? So 3-on-3.
And they couldn't beat him.
3-on-3, like you said, it's tight spaces, right? Yeah. And you get a guy like Vinny Desharnais, who's probably close to 7 feet on skates.
Yeah.
And he's just swinging his stick like this. He's so hard to get around. And by the way, in the game that took place at 6:30, which ultimately ended in a shootout, the game was 10-10, and it went to a shootout. In the final 30 seconds of the game, I don't know if you saw this, but at your end, Vinny Desharnais took out Laurent Dauphin.
He did behind the net pretty hard,
But he took him up pretty hard. And I'm going to tell you right now, when Dauphin went back to the bench, he wasn't happy. Like he was shocked that he got taken out. Now, Vinny Desharnais is a great guy. And I don't think he.
I think competitive spirits just got every. You know what I mean? Like
His team was down a couple of
they're
goals.
pros, right? And they got an attitude. They made it that far because you're not allowed to beat them. You know, that's just the attitude of a professional because they want it. They just don't know how to not compete. It's just in their blood. So it's 10-10. There are 30 seconds left. And Desharnais is like, the hell with this. Nobody's beating me. And if it takes a little physicality, that's the way this is going to end. And that's how it ended.
And Desharnais' team was down by a score of 10-8 with a couple of minutes to go. 10-7 was it? And a couple of minutes, probably 3 minutes to go in the game. And in the last 3 minutes, his team scores 3 goals to tie it at 10. And you're right. It's like he was saying, there's no way I'm going to get beat here. And I think Dauphin went by his bench to say, hey, man, like, what's up? And then when he went back to his bench, he was like, he was in disbelief. He got taken out. And usually in the off season, right, because camp is around the corner, you know, no one wants to take anyone out. But anyway, that's what happened. It was
Tony. I actually saw it there in his face. It looked like this when he finished going with Dauphin. He went like this to Dauphin. He went like this. Sort of like, hey, that's the way it goes, buddy. You know, this is hockey. You know, so and he was really hard to beat because I asked Steve Bégin. I had a couple minutes with Steve Bégin. By the way, I mean, what a great guy.
Great guy. Steve Bégin's a great guy.
Just an unbelievable dude. Because I was wondering what the dimensions of that were like, and he said he didn't know, but he was guessing 120 by 60-ish. Yeah. So, like, it's not regular 3-on-3 on a big NHL ice. It's like condensed 3-on-3. So you're playing hockey in tight spaces. So when you do something well, Tony, like when you're able to manipulate, like people are saying, well, it's easy to manipulate everything and make fancy plays and have amazing stick handling skills because it's just 3-on-3. But it's not really like that because you've lost half of the ice surface. So as a result, you're in really tight spaces. So it actually teaches, I think, these players to really play good hockey in tight spaces.
Yeah, no, it really does. And you know what? I would imagine that Marty St. Louis loves this kind of stuff because at many of his practices, he takes 2 nets, he puts them probably, 50 feet one from the other. And in terms of the width of the ice, he actually probably put some cones or whatever, some pucks to actually make it even more narrow. So in those tight spaces, you have no other choice but to actually take information before you get the puck. And then obviously your reads and reacts. And this like if you're able to do to take information, track information, and read and react in such a short space of ice, it's going to be so much easier for you on a larger sheet of ice after, right? So it's a tool. It will really, really help you. And yesterday, when I spent time with Demidov and I talked about that, and I talked to him about playing in the 3v3 league, and he was saying how, you know, pretty much everyone who plays in the league, like everyone's got something, right? Like they're all good hockey players. But Demidov was telling me how fast it is on 3v3. Like, there's always somebody in your face, and guys are flying, right? And, like, for example, there's a player who plays overseas by the name of Giovanni Fiori. Yeah. And like, he's not a household name, very unfortunately, right? Because he's not playing in the National Hockey League. But Demidov was saying, like, Fiori can fly. Like, Fiori's a really, really good hockey player. And just goes to show you.
I thought he was the best player in the first game, actually.
He was really good,
I had to look him up on Google, of course, right? He's like 28 years old, 27 years old, and he plays out of Omsk in the KHL. But when I was watching him, I said, I don't know who 13 is, but he's flying. I like this guy is really good in tight spaces. Yeah. And he was having a good time with David Perron, who was, you know, naturally an NHL player, looked really good. He impressed the hell out of me. So, that was actually my favorite player on that team that won so easily in game one because Devin Levi just refused to let pucks in. It's crazy because, you know, imagine 3-on-3, the chances that are in a game, right? I mean, just enormous amount of scoring chances, and he was just fantastic.
There was one Montreal Canadian that played in the first game at 5:15, and we'll bring it up. I think it's the man-made team. And the boys from Man-Made just got themselves a plug here. Good for them. I had a chance to see them, and they were really nice.
That's the underwear, right?
Yeah, and the boxers, yes, and
Right.
they brought me an espresso. So we'll give them a shout out tonight. They're really nice. Samuel Poulain, as you can see, so that team was Chris Letang, number 5, Joe Valeno, number 10, Benoit Olivier Groux, number 19, Samuel Poulain, whose father Patrick, of course, played for the Montreal Canadiens back in the day, who was there in the stands in attendance. 71 is Thomas Bordelot, 73 Xavier Bourgault, and the goalie is Frank Lepena. So, this team, unfortunately, they had a really, really tough night at the office. It was difficult. Brian, I stopped looking at the score, but at one point they were down by a score of 11-2. I don't know how it ended. It was tough for them. But let's bring up a shift from Joe Valeno if we can. Let's bring up a Joe Valeno shift. All right, here you have Joe Valeno, who's the last man back, number 10.
Number 10.
And look, we have to put things in context here. 3v3 hockey is much different than 5v5 hockey, obviously, right? So it's you attack one end and then you attack the other end, Valeno, you know what I saw, and I'm wondering if Valeno played the way he played tonight because he's trying to work on his 200-foot game and his defensive game. But I don't know if you saw the same thing, Brian. I saw Valeno hang back a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, more than anybody else. I mean, even more than Chris Letang. Right? Like Chris Letang was going on offense more than Valeno was. So, yeah, for sure. I will agree with that assessment.
But look at him there. He got in the shooting lane. He had actually redirected.
And then Levi again.
And then, he got sprung free on a break, and then he tried for a quick wrist shot, and Devin Levi made the save. But I saw Joe Valeno, look, I'm not going to lie to anyone here and say that I saw Joe Valeno be an offensive powerhouse tonight, but I saw him almost looking like a guy who was working on his defensive game, trying to make the right play at the right time. It was difficult for him because his team didn't have the puck all that often, and once again, it was a very lopsided game. But Valeno looked like he was trying to do things that you need to do to stay in a lineup on a third or fourth line in the National Hockey League.
And play center, like with the defensive responsibility.
Yes.
But with that said, like you're talking only about his defense. I also felt though that he was really good in tight spaces. He's a superb skater, a beautiful skater. He brings his size to the rink all the time, obviously. But I thought that he was really good in tight spaces. The only criticism I would have is I thought he passed a lot when he could have shot, which is the same criticism that people have of him in the NHL. I think he might need to just tell himself to be a little bit more selfish about things. He had some nice looks, and he looked for some difficult passes when he had those nice looks. Maybe Devin Levi was kind of like in his head at that point because he was in the head of everybody else because he was phenomenal, considering that everybody allowed about 11 tonight and he allowed 2 of the 4 goalies.
Levi was phenomenal. And you talked about Valeno's got a quick wrist shot. Valeno's wrist shot has something. It really does.
But he defers a little bit more than you would normally see for a guy of his experience in the National Hockey League already. But keep in mind, we're talking about 3-on-3 hockey here, and it's very hard for us to assess this in NHL terms. So I'm kind of just looking for how good is he in tight spaces, and I thought he was really good. How clever is he with the puck? And I thought he was really clever. How well does he skate? I think he skates beautifully. Now, how this translates to trying to make the Montreal Canadiens and where he might fit into the lineup, that's for another day. But the NHL components of his game, I really liked.
And you know what? He was involved in the play. I'm not going to tell you that he was going back and forth at 100 miles an hour the entire game. But what I will tell you is when there was a puck battle, it seemed like you wanted to come out with the puck. He fought. He didn't just give up on it and say, no. Mm-hmm. He was competing. So the compete level is there. I thought once again, if we're going to talk about some Canadiens offensive players like Joshua Roy or Laurent Dauphin or Ivan Demidov, Valeno probably, I would say, was behind Joshua Roy and behind Ivan Demidov and behind Jake Evans in terms of showing offense. I loved Evans in the 3-on-3, by the way, and we're going to talk a lot about the Canadiens players. Let's bring up the other team that played at 6:30 p.m. This is team Accent Insurance Solutions, Accent Assurance. Alex Carrier was number 5. Joshua Roy was number 10. Laurent Dauphin was number 19. Jake Evans was 71. Justin Robida was 73. Ivan Demidov was 93. And Kevin Mandolese was the goaltender. And I really like Jake Evans.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I mentioned Jake and what I thought about him, I mean, look at the talent level of that, right? Like in defense
Yes.
of Valeno and his team only getting 2. Just like go back to remember or go back to Valeno's teammates and then and then just look at the exceptional level of the teammates in the team that Demidov was on. I mean, there's just no comparison. There's NHL and talent written all over this. And yes, to your point, Jake Evans was just outstanding. And I thought, again, it's just 3-on-3 hockey and everything. But boy, did Evans and Demidov link up.
Yeah.
They seemed to really see each other through that entire game. There was an instance where Evans and Demidov were on a passing play that it was just so rapid. I thought the Canadiens' third-round draft choice in this last year, the goalie, I thought he was going to be dizzy. Never mind make the save on the play. It was moving around so fast. Those three really looked good together. And Roy did not look out of place, Tony, with Evans and Demidov.
No, but I expected Roy to look good in a 3v3 format. By the way, if you're wondering, Justin Robida is the son of Montreal Canadiens assistant coach and defense coach Stéphane Robida. He's a former 5th-round draft pick drafted in 2021 by the Carolina Hurricanes, who played 70 games in the AHL this past season with the Chicago Wolves, but they get the call up to play a couple of games with the Carolina Hurricanes. So Stéphane Robida's son was playing on the team with the Montreal Canadiens players. Before we get to Jake Evans, I want to say something again about Evans, but the Sick Podcast, once again, brought to you in part by Energy Transportation Group, a leading full-service logistics provider serving all of North America. They're different. They're driven to be different. Also brought to you in part by Playground. If you're hungry for a deal, eat well at Playground without breaking the bank. Mondays, sink your teeth into a juicy 12-ounce ribeye steak with all the fixings for just $19. Tuesdays, dive into an all-you-can-eat Asian experience for only $25. Wednesdays, savor a 6-ounce bacon-wrapped filet mignon with dessert for just $30. Thursdays, lobster surf and turf, only $22. And Fridays at lunch, get any sandwich, burger, main, or pizza for just $7. It's delicious and it's outrageous, and you can visit playground.ca for details. The way I saw Evans play tonight, and I want to get back to Valeno, I think Valeno should be looking at everything Evans is doing and saying, you know what? This is the kind of sound game that I need to play. And Evans himself, as well as being very sound defensively, showed some offense at tonight's game too. As a matter of fact, I think we have him scoring a goal on a breakaway. Let's see it.
Oh, Look at
that. Huh?
Yeah, nice move.
Right-handed shot and pretends like he's faking backhand, takes it right hand, goes for the deke and scores. And there you have it, coming right over to the bench. And that's where I was at. And Jake Evans is looking really good. He's in fine form. Honestly, he looks like if camp was tomorrow, he's ready. Looks good.
He was outstanding. He was outstanding, and his link up with Demidov was outstanding too. And obviously, again, I was kind of learning 3-on-3 hockey myself during the hour. I've never seen it on a small ice surface like that. So, I was kind of developing my own instincts watching it. What these guys were trying to do with their limited instincts, doing it too on that small ice surface. And I just felt like Evans knew where to go all the time. Like he had a real sense of where the play was going to be. He seemed to be a tick ahead of where the puck was going to go all the time.
You know what Evans showed us tonight? He showed us how smart a hockey player he is, because 3-on-3 hockey, to play it really well, you need to be really smart, because we talked about those reads and those reacts, right? Yep. And he showed us tonight how smart he is. That's exactly what he did. I was very impressed with what I saw. And you know what? Jake Evans looked great. That was his goal. And here's a goal from Ivan Demidov, who scored a couple, by the way. I don't have all of them on tape. Sometimes I was taping, sometimes I wasn't. But here you have it. Demidov playing a little bit of a game of keep away there. Now he goes behind
93, by the way.
93 in white, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Look, there he comes through the neutral zone. Head up, stick down, waiting for it. In movement. Going to get away. Doesn't like the man-to-man, says, I'm going to get away from here. And here we go. Positions himself. Now he's back at the point. Moves, gets to the front of the net, gets to the slot. Boom, redirect. There we go. Bang, bang.
And
bang,
who passed
bang,
it to him? Jake Evans.
Jake Evans passed it to him, yes.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see. By the way, Demidov scored also a one-timer that was just an incredible shot. It looked like a real goal scorer's goal. He's a left-handed shot. He's on the right side, and boom, bang, bang play again. But now we're going to see, I think, a real good defensive play from Demidov and an assist on what ends up being a goal. I believe it's the carry goal. We have it? So here you have it. It's not a great taping job that I did here. I don't know.
You're doing awesome, I think.
Here we go. Demidov grabs the puck behind the net. And he flicks it off the boards right to Carrier, goes on a breakaway, and Carrier scores.
Do you have the play where it looks like the NBA?
No,
Demidov does a kind of a between the legs, blind back pass.
Yeah.
To Evans, who one times it in the net.
Yeah.
And he got it from Waugh. So it goes Waugh here. Demidov's here in front of the net. He's never looked. He's only looked at Waugh. He gets it. The pass is not perfect. It's in his feet. He opens his legs up, puts it with a backhand, never looks back the other way, and it goes right to Evans, who one times it in. And the goalie in this instance is like, how did you do that? And the crowd, Tony, in that moment, they gasped. They didn't cheer. They went.
There was also a play where Demidov broke away, and then the whole Pavel Bure move, right, where you got it on your stick,
yes.
And you pass it, drop it back to your skate, and you kick it back to your stick.
Yes.
And hope you got robbed on the play, but you saw so much creativity, Brian, out of all the players that we saw tonight. That looked like he had a relationship with the puck, and he can play a game of pond hockey and keep away longer and better than most. I think it was Demidov. It was, it was fun to watch, Brian. There's some images that just don't lie, right? His relationship with the puck, his stick handling ability, his puck protection. It doesn't lie, Brian.
The duplicity in his game is insane. I'm sure, like, I was looking too, who is he defensively against? And, without, you mentioned at the top of the show, we're not going to be negative. So I'm just going to keep it to this. It was NHLers, regular NHLers, that a couple times were like, wow, that's just crazy what he just did there. And I have no idea what he's doing next. I was really, really impressed. And I didn't necessarily, go in thinking that I wanted to be. I wanted to be a critic, but I really can't find anything to be critical about. The man's got insane hands, and his duplicity leaves opponents shaking their head, and creativity his teammates have to keep up. We'll see what how it translates, but I like 3-on-3 for assessing skills.
Yeah.
It's a real good skill assessment game, especially tight 3-on-3.
I give out a shout out to our sponsors. The Sick Podcast is brought to you in part by Accent Insurance Solutions. All insurance isn't created equal. You know where to find the right solution for you. Accent Insurance. They don't sell insurance. They shop insurance for you to find the right product right on the money, whatever your insurance needs, home, automobile, or business. Visit accentassurance.com or call them tomorrow at 514-363-3636. Also, any sport, if you want to get in on the action, you can go all the way with Betway, get a free bet up to $200. First bet loses. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. Please play responsibly. Brian, look, Laurent Dauphin, I think that, when you take a look at a guy like Dauphin, with the career that he's had, the amount of games he's played in the American Hockey League, the age that he finds himself out right now, he's 30 years old. He's got an NHL body. He's the kind of guy that you can call up every now and then on a short-term basis. He's not going to look at a place on a short-term basis, because he's been a pro for a long time. He has played about less than 100 games, about 94 games at the National Hockey League level. But he's a guy who obviously is going to be a pillar for the Laval Rocket. He's going to be an NHLer, you would think, the rest of the way. But I'd love for a guy like that who's an honest worker to be able to get a chance later on in his career. Maybe it would have to be with another organization, I think, if he still wants to play at the National Hockey League level, and maybe even at that. But Joshua Roy, talk to me about him. You like what you saw?
Yeah, absolutely. He was probably the biggest surprise, because people have been pretty down on him in terms of him becoming an NHL regular. 2 years ago, it looked like he was going to achieve his goals, coming off great work for Canada, and then a good start at the NHL level with a team that was a little bit inferior to the one that it is now, the Canadiens I'm speaking of, and then a dip back. So there was a feeling, and I went into the game with a feeling that, he was second fiddle to his line mates. And he didn't look second fiddle at all with Evans and Demidov. He held his own just beautifully in the game. He was creative.
Still going to be so difficult, though, right? Because if we talk
about, of course, it's a numbers game.
Suzuki with Caulfield and Slavkovsky, and then we talk about whoever is going to center Demidov, and you would think Liney. And then all of a sudden you have to say, does Joshua Roy have a chair on a third line or a fourth line? And I think you can make a case that he can have a chair on a third line. But like you just said, Brian, it's going to be a numbers game for him. Hey, I want to bring up a very important cause. I was told about a fundraiser, and I said, listen, I'll help spread the word. And so if we can bring it up, do we have it? It's Montreal Special Needs Family Organization. Maddie is behind it. And there's going to be a golf tournament on Saturday, September 6th at Club de Golf Nipierville. And it's $165 per player, including golf cart, lunch, and supper. And so you have there's various prizes that are going to be given away as well, and an opportunity. But once again, all proceeds go to support Montreal Special Needs Family Organization. Basically, families with children with disabilities, learning disabilities, and different kinds of disabilities. If they can help out, they're definitely there to do so. And the number to call is 438-860. And I believe that is, let me just see, 6663. So that's 438-860. And I believe it's 6663. And if it's not,
you're correct. 6663. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I got a beat on it here.
You lose your eyesight at a certain point, right, Ryan? That's what's happening to me. But anyway, I'm going to put it out there on social media. And if you want to email them, it's admin@msnf for Montreal Special Needs Family.ca. So admin@msnf.ca. All right, there you have it. Okay, so it was a fun night. It was a fun night, only in Montreal, eh?
That was packed house. I needed 15 minutes to find a parking spot. I ended up on the street like 4 blocks away.
Same for me. Middle of August. It was like 33, 34 all day long. It was still very sunny when we got there. And the place was absolutely sold out. Like, it was sold out.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
And
really.
They were chanting "Go Habs, go!" and Demidov. I mean, I'm telling you, if this Demidov gets off to a great start, Tony, the hysteria is going to be insane.
Yeah,
right? It's going to be unheard of.
Yeah, and once again, like, I think he has the ability to put up points right away because I just think he's so good. But if he goes out and he picks up, let's just say, for example, 50 points.
Mm-hmm.
He's still 19 right now. Mm-hmm. In what will be his first full season in the National Hockey League, I think that's a big success. I really do.
Yeah, huge success.
Not everyone's Crosby and Ovechkin to start there. We need to relax a little. Let's calm the pompon.
How many points did Macklin Celebrini finish with? About 63?
Mid-60s, I think, eh?
Yeah, okay. So that would be...
who went first in the draft?
Who went first in the draft.
The year that Demidov went fifth.
Right, and then he went to college.
63 points. That is correct. 63 points in 70 games.
That is that's a big number. That's the same number around as Connor Bedard in his rookie season. Like if it starts with a 6, that's epic in today's NHL.
It's absolutely epic. You're right about that. Brian, thanks so much for doing it. Next week is the final week of the Living Sisu 3v3 League. Okay. It's the final week.
Same
so
players?
Goes well. Yes, but the different matchups. So far goes well. Actually, no, they have other players that come in every now and then, and I think players that can make it. So I'll see you there next week.
Absolutely.
Thanks for doing
Thanks
this.
for asking me.
You're very welcome.
Cheers.
Thank you, Brian Wilde of Global TV Montreal. Very much appreciated. Special thanks to our sponsors. Special thanks to Accent Insurance Solutions. Special thanks to Betway. Special thanks to Bittt DB. Special thanks to Playground. Special thanks to Energy Transportation Group. And special thanks to all of you for watching. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple. It's our way of feeling the love. For Sammy and Yellow at Master Control, it's a sick podcast. I'm Marinaro.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. LaVie.tv, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.